Coming up on this edition of Parkland TV, we give you some fun ways to get creative and stay busy during quarantine and take a deeper look into how our country is dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Emily Babinchak. All this and more coming up on this edition of Parkland TV. Today is Friday, April 10th. Here's Sean Nekich to give us a roundup of what's trending for your viewing pleasure.
In case you didn't already know, Netflix introduced a top 10 system they update every single day, not only to show what's most watched, but also what's most highly rated. This way, things like Amy Schumer's comedy special doesn't get thrown in your face. So if you're looking for something new to watch, or just bored and have nothing better to do, I'll be going over the current top 5 shows and movies on Netflix. Number 5, Angel Has Fallen. Angel Has Fallen is a 2-hour-long R-rated action and adventure film with the main cast of Gerald Butler, Nick Nolte, and Morgan Freeman respectively. The movie revolves around a Secret Service agent named Mike Banning, who's become caught in the crossfire when framed for a deadly attack on the president and is forced to run for his life. If you enjoy action thrillers and Morgan Freeman, you'll probably enjoy Angel Has Fallen. Number 4, The Big Show Show. Taking a drastically different turn from Angel Has Fallen, The Big Show Show is a sitcom about former wrestler The Big Show. Now retired, he has to face a bigger challenge: family life. With the main cast including Paul White, Allison Munn, and Ray Lancaster, the show is overall fun-loving, and if you enjoy cheesy sitcoms like Fuller House, you may want to sit down and watch a few episodes of The Big Show Show. Number 3, Coffee and Kareem. Coffee and Kareem is another action adventure movie, more on the side of an action comedy, with the main plot being an inept cop must team up with his girlfriend's son after their bonding time uncovers a criminal conspiracy. Coffee and Kareem is directed by Michael Dowse, and with a watch time of 1 hour and 28 minutes, you can temporarily stop your boredom by giving it a watch. Number 2, Ozark. If you're looking for a new series to get addicted to, Ozark is currently standing at 3 seasons, with the Netflix series being a crime TV drama/TV thriller about a financial advisor who drags his family into the Missouri Ozarks, where he must come up with a sum of $500 million in 5 years to appease a drug boss. Starring Jason Bateman, Laura Linney, and Sophia Hablitz as the main cast, Ozark may be for you. Number 1, Tiger King. If you haven't already watched or heard of the Tiger King documentaries, you've been missing out. With the story revolving around Joe Exotic, a mullet-wearing, country-singing, and gunslinging hillbilly, and his love for tigers and his hate for a woman named Carol Baskin, Tiger King can be considered a lot of things, but dull is not one of them. Being considered a true crime documentary with 7 episodes, Tiger King is a must-watch no matter who you are. And that's the top 5 for this week. Hopefully you heard something you liked. For Parkland TV, I'm Sean Nekich.
Thank you, Sean. While being stuck at home is no fun for most of us, we are making a huge impact on how quickly our country is able to recover from the coronavirus pandemic. Obeying the rules and regulations implemented by the CDC is incredibly important, and news correspondent Zoe Streeter is here to tell us more about how our country is responding.
Amid the growing concern about the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a growing divide in our nation as to how the government is handling the crisis. If we take a step back from our political biases and look at the matter head-on, we can honestly compare the successes and failures of our government in dealing with the virus. Many have been quick to place the lack of preparedness on the Trump administration, bashing his claims that the coronavirus was under control and that it was nothing more than a flu. This clip taken from The Daily Show highlights quotes of both the Trump administration and Fox News anchors downplaying the virus.
In our line of work, you shake hands. I expect the president will continue to do that. I'll continue to do it.
We have contained this. I won't say airtight, but pretty close to airtight.
This is a flu. This is like a flu.
No matter where you fall on the political spectrum, instead of focusing on words of the past and creating an ignorant political battle, we need to be focused on what we're doing now to treat this virus. There have also been consistent complaints that China is to blame for the lack of preparedness given that they inadequately warned the world of the threat. In this video clip, Donald Trump says that while China isn't necessarily to blame, they definitely could have and should have said something to make this whole process just a little bit easier.
I know where it came from. I don't know if you'd say China's to blame. Certainly we didn't get an early run on it. It would have been helpful if we knew about it earlier. But it comes from China, and it's not a question about that. Nobody's questioning that.
Upon taking a look at the U.S.'s response to the coronavirus, there are numerous things that have been handled correctly and have helped our situation. Let's look at a quick timeline of the major events that have taken place in the U.S.
I think we're doing
The first major step taken by the U.S. was the travel ban from China on January 31st.
People coming in from China, where this all started, that meant I took it very seriously.
On February 24th, the Trump administration asked Congress for $1.25 billion in emergency funds to combat the virus. The CDC had already been warning of an almost guaranteed outbreak at this point, after deaths throughout Europe, Asia, and 35 confirmed cases in the U.S. grew daily.
Global circumstances suggest it's likely that this virus will cause a pandemic.
On February 29th, Trump announced a travel ban for countries such as Iran, Italy, and South Korea amid the first U.S. death in Seattle. This was not a worldwide ban, but was targeted to the hardest hit areas.
In addition to moving Iran, we are going to increase to the highest level of advisory, which is level 4, advising Americans do not travel to specific regions in Italy and South Korea.
On March 11th, our nation's capital took measures that proved the severity of this disease within our own borders. Tours of the White House and Capitol building ended indefinitely, and gatherings of groups over 500 people were banned. In addition, the travel ban was extended to all European countries, excluding Britain.
To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days.
Just 2 days later, Trump declared a national emergency, saying that he would give $50 billion in federal dollars to provide relief to states and territories.
To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency.
On March 21st, the White House announced that several American companies had transitioned from manufacturing their regular products to producing equipment and supplies that could be used for the benefit of the medical field.
It was made right here. It's been really pretty amazing what's happened with the private sector. They are really in sixth gear, I think, which has responded in full force, helping to produce and supply much-needed masks, swabs, sanitizers, ventilators, and everything else.
Regardless of all the measures taken, as of March 26th, the U.S. has led the world in the number of confirmed cases, and as testing becomes more readily available, the number grows each and every day. On March 27th, Trump signed the coronavirus stimulus bill into law, which will put $2 trillion into the improvement of national health and economic security. At this point, almost every U.S. state has imposed stay-at-home orders. This decision is being made by state governors, not by the federal government. This is in contrast to nations such as Italy, who have gone on nationwide lockdowns. On April 1st, Governor Tom Wolf placed all of Pennsylvania under a stay-at-home order, dramatically expanding the geographic footprint of the quarantine. This order will last through at least April 30th. Separately, however, schools and non-essential businesses are closed indefinitely. Before we try and place blame for the situation, there are some things that we need to understand. This situation is entirely unprecedented and has never been seen in anybody's lifetime before. To add to that, this virus is completely unfamiliar, meaning there is no cure, vaccine, or human immunity to it. And while the elderly and immunocompromised are more of a risk, we are all susceptible to contracting this disease and further spreading it. Of course, we are lacking a lot of medical supplies within our own borders. We lack gloves, masks, hospital beds, ventilators, etc. We could blame the Trump administration for this, or we could blame China for this. We could even blame the past administration for this. But at the end of the day, placing blame won't give us any satisfaction and it won't help our cause. What we need to do is band together along with the medical field to come up with a solution as to how to deal with this crisis. As scary as this is, there's no need to worry for your own health as long as you're following proper social distancing rules. Stay home. Don't hang out with your friends. We live in the golden age of social media. Connect with your friends through that rather than in person. Do your part. Stay home, take care of yourself. Other people are relying on it. Reporting, I'm Zoe Streeter.
Thanks, Zoe. As many American workers have found themselves being confined to working at home or unable to work at all, there are still many American citizens out putting in the hours to make sure that our country continues to operate to its highest function. Lindsay Renard and Ken Carpenetti give us a closer look at how the coronavirus has impacted truck drivers and postal workers.
You know, another job you might not think about, but we're going to feature right now, our working hero, racking up miles to help put food on our tables here in America.
Truck drivers are in demand as stores work to keep the shelves stocked with the essentials.
Been to the grocery store recently, you've seen the impact the consumers have had during this COVID-19 outbreak.
Many are working around the clock to get what you need into the stores. And without this critical industry, our country would be crippled.
The response to COVID-19 has emptied grocery store shelves, and that has put a heavy burden on truckers across the nation.
I do a lot of food. what we've noticed is a lot of things that can be frozen, canned, things of that nature are selling like crazy. Orders that we would bring a truck or two a week are now a truck or two a day.
A lot of truck drivers are probably pushing their limits right now to try to keep supply and demand rolling.
If we don't roll, then y'all don't eat. No toilet paper, no nothing on the shelves, so we got to keep going.
Unlike most of us who have been spending our days inside with our families, truck drivers are now more than ever spending time away from their families to keep our grocery stores stocked. Some truck drivers have even been living inside their trucks permanently in order to keep their families from getting sick, since they travel across the country so much and don't know when they will be exposed or if they will be exposed to COVID-19.
That's the area in which I got to sleep. And there's 2 beds in there. If you go over here, you see I have a refrigerator. That's a 12-volt refrigerator. And that's where I've been eating cold cuts and stuff. That's what I'm eating. Restaurants are closed. We can't get food to eat. Last time I had a sit-down meal was 2.5 weeks ago.
Truck drivers are crucial during this time. They ask that you stay away from truck stops so that they can stay on their best health to continue delivering the goods that you need.
Truckers are a part of a larger chain of unsung heroes out there that are fighting hard to keep society together. If trucking were to stop just for 24 hours, we'd start to feel the effects. Without trucking up to 4 weeks, we'd have a complete stop in all of our economy.
Truck drivers ask that if you have to be on the roads during this time to make sure that you're following all of the safe driving rules. Make sure that they can see you when you're on the road. Make sure that if they are merging, you let them in. And make sure that if you are merging, you are using your blinker. Make sure you appreciate your local truckers.
Adults, old people, young kids, we love to pull that horn as much as you guys want us to. So if you see a driver, hang your arm out the window. Tell them you support them. They love to honk. Yes, that is it. And it happens so much less now, but I can tell you, we love it. We really love honking our horn and people noticing us on a positive note.
Thanks, guys. To end this week's edition of Parkland TV Off the Air, here's one final special message from Lindsay Renard.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Renard, and if you don't know me already, I'm a current senior at Parkland High School. I recently entered a contest called the Teen Drive 365 Video Challenge, sponsored by Toyota and Discovery Education. The program promotes safe driving, especially amongst teens, and the challenge was to create a public service announcement, or a PSA, about distracted driving. My video talks about the dangers of letting your distracted study habits become your driving habits. Because let's face it, we all plan on studying for that big test coming up and then spend most of the time on our phones. My video is a top 10 finalist out of 850 submissions from around the country, but I need your help to win. Starting now until April 22nd, you can use the link in the description below to vote for my video titled Stay Focused. You can vote once per day per device. So please vote, and thank you so much in advance. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. That's all we have for you on this week's edition of Parkland TV Off the Air. Make sure to follow our YouTube and Twitter at Parkland TV Film for more updates and content. I'm Emily Babinchak. Don't forget, today is Friday, so it's the last day to participate in our Spirit Week. It's Formal Friday, so dress to impress. If you'd like to see all of the pictures of those who participated, make sure to stay tuned for an upcoming video. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in and stay safe.